Let's find the area of circles. Okay, so the formula for the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. So let's remember about a circle, right? You can see it here, it's circular in shape. And the radius is the distance from the center to the outside of the circle. That is the radius. Now there may be times when you are given the diameter. So the diameter passes through the center, but goes from one side to the other. So just remember that the diameter is 2 times the radius. Or you can take the diameter, divide by 2, and that will give you the radius. But we need that. Also, don't forget that pi, there should be a button on your calculator of pi. Sometimes pi is referenced as 22/7. It's probably most notably known for its estimation of 3.14. All right, so if you want an exact answer, you will leave it in terms of pi. Okay, so let's find the find the area of the circle given. We're going to find the exact value and estimate using 3.14 to 2 decimal places. Now, when it says the exact value, that means you're going to just leave pi in pi form. Okay, so we know that the formula for area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. In this particular example, we are given the center to the outside, so the radius is 6. So the first thing we're going to do is find the exact value. So the exact is going to be area equals pi times 6 squared. We know that 6 squared, 6 times 6, which is 36. So the area is 36 pi feet squared. Okay. Area is always square feet. Radius times the radius in terms of measurements. So the exact is 36 pi feet squared. Now, if we're finding, right, pi times 6 squared, if we're finding the estimate using 3.14, instead of the pi symbol, we will use 3.14 times 6 squared, which is 36. So 3.14 times 36 will give me an area of 113.04 feet squared. Just for reference, if you would type into your calculator 36 and then hit the pi button, the answer gives you 113.09733, and it goes on and on and on. So you can see the difference between the pi button and just rounding to 3.14. It makes your answer different, by 5 or 6 hundredths. So it's not a huge difference, but it's enough to be noticeable. All right, find the area. We're going to use, again, exact and 3.14 to 2 decimal places. Now you'll notice in the problem given, we're given the diameter because it's the distance all the way across the circle, side to side, and that's 8 inches. So if the diameter is 8 inches, and we know that the diameter divided by 2 is the radius, then we would take 8 divided by 2 to get 4, and 4 inches is the radius. So to find our exact answer, again, area is pi times the radius squared. And anytime you're using formulas and you have trouble remembering the formulas, if you write it out like this before you plug in the numbers, it will help you remember. So I'm going to write down A equals pi r squared, and then I'm going to plug in what I know. So I know the radius is 4. So A equals pi times 4 squared, and I know that 4 squared is 16. So the area is 16 times pi inches squared, and that's our exact value. And now let's estimate. So we're going to estimate by using the 3.14. So again, I've got pi r squared. So now I'm going to take 3.14 times 4 squared. And again, we know that 4 squared is 16. So A equals 3.14 times 16. And when I multiply those together, I get an answer of 50.24 inches squared. And again, just for reference, if you use the pi button, your answer would be 0.2654, and it goes on and on and on. Again, just a little different. And one other thing that I want to point out for this one, if you would use 22/7, which is another estimate for pi that we talked about at the very beginning, and did 22/7 times 16, you would get an answer of 50.2857, on and on and on. So you can see how all of the answers, if you would use the different estimates for pi, 3.14, the actual pi button, or 22/7, you get close but slightly different answers.